Good evening and welcome to a holiday edition of Nightfall in Amsterdam. Tonight we are joining primarily werewolves and some kinfolk, but for the Beltane celebration on the Sept of Riddling Waters. Throughout the city there are a number of groups celebrating Beltane, but one of the more prominent ones, although not that anyone knows that, are the Guru of the Sept. Beltane is a widely respected Celtic holiday, and accordingly, the Fianna celebrate with very little restraint. To that end, the Alpha is coordinated with a number of the Fianna on the Sept to host a couple of rituals. They'll be holding rituals honoring the hunter, and I'm probably going to say this incorrectly, I apologize, Sir Nunos, Brigid, the goddess, and since it's a celebration of the welcoming of summer, as a thank you and an honor to the Get, of which there are a number in the area, there will be a ritual to honor the fire drake, as he is the Get's embodiment of flame. The most noticeable preparation for these rituals, however, is that the gatekeeper, the keeper of the land, and another Fianna elder have been gathering at the heart of the Sept and seem to be preparing a sort of a greeting party near the moon bridge. There's also going to be, they've begun in other parts of the Sept to prepare for these rituals, which will happen sequentially so that people can attend all of them. With that, I will turn it over to everyone to kind of introduce themselves. Let me know if you're starting at the Gate of the Moon Bridge or somewhere else, and we will go from there.
Well, while it is not by any means her sept, Grace may be a member, but she is only a member of the sept. She is nonetheless, because at least for portions of the celebration, has done a lot of preparations of her own, has pulled together some of the materials for the bonfires, has managed to go out and scrounge the materials to make a massive vat of the traditional kind of oatmeal in a portion of the coals, has taken a distressing amount of time to knot flower crowns, among many other things, has been happily kind of subbing in to play hostess, because she's not celebrating this in a closed way, and that means that when people show interest or try to engage, it's a very loose interpretation of hospitality, but she ain't taking no risks, and she ain't... Yeah, she's not going to half-ass anything. She's on 200% today. So by time all of this is taking place later in the day, she has happily plopped flower crowns on a number of people, has flung them at others, has been getting on with the celebrations, and God help him, Falca has been dragged back to Sept, but at least he had warning this time. And I imagine by time people are gathering at the Pathstones, Grace has been having a day, and she's been carefully taking some portions of time to wick off some of what she's riding on so that she can kind of reintroduce alcohol into her system so that she doesn't flat pass out, 5 hours into the full day of celebration. So at this point, I dare say she is running around naked or very close to it, wearing literally, well, her hair and some body paint. And I mean, I'm sure there's something else that's stuck for a while, but yeah, she's been pretty happily hammered and just celebrating. She is that obnoxiously happy drunk. And yeah, she has been accosting anyone and everyone who doesn't look ready to literally punch her in the face. And probably some of them too, honestly, because flower crowns. But, I mean, yeah, she's just been offering up, praises to the appropriate spirits. Explaining that it's welcoming. We've gone from Gaia's maidenhood in spring to her fullness in summer, so we're fucking celebrating. So yeah, she has been 110% full ham going since this morning. God knows what is keeping her moving.
So I brought a set of antlers and a pair of horns. Which is more appropriate?
There's a blank. Unless you're the right master, they might think you're. I don't know. I mean, it's technically the antlers. She points, doesn't even hesitate on that. But I don't know, because if they go and actually summon her in the hunter, you probably don't want to be walking around in a costume of them. That would be rude.
That's a fair point, I think.
That's okay. You don't have to wear anything. That's the beauty of it. Big drunk smile.
How high are how?
Yes.
Oh my God, Christ. Well, you.
Colin had kegs.
I can see that. I'm gonna plop a flower crown on my head.
Oh, there you go. Rubs his head yeah, there you go. It's in your hair. It's perfect.
Thank you. Lead the way? I've never been to one of these before.
In cartoons where there's the immediate yoink where you leave a little swirling dust cloud?
Mm-hmm.
That happens.
Eric is with a lot of his Get brothers and sisters. They have been celebrating not as in more of celebration of the spring, like the Fianna and the Children of Stag. No, they've been drinking. They've been doing various things, but each time they're by the fire, they take a small coin and flick it into the fire each time. So each more shinier thing burns brighter and brighter and brighter. Eric's big long braid has been painted to almost represent scale of a dragon. His face as well has got far more red paint on it as well, to he looks very much more bigger. But he's got a big smile on his face as he's exchanging drinks with and tests of strength with his kin brothers and sisters. There is a lot of if there's Balka and Grace passing, they'll see him in the center of it all. Really, there is a lot of banging. There's a lot of thumping. It is a much more different style to the Fianna. It is far more primal and far more of Fenrir, really. They're kind of shoulder bumping into each other. And you'll see them all the time, though, adding shinier things into the fire, almost burning it brighter and higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, Era's kind of been respectfully observing and participating where she's able, but mostly just trying to learn what's going on and whatnot throughout the day.
Today has been a interesting day for one. Dominic, he can be seen in a rather peculiar way. Not the high energy that he usually exudes. The intense accusations in his eyes, not there today. Dominic can be seen being helpful, helping kinfolk with bales of oatmeal, moving honey, and just sort of doing everything he can to sort of be helpful. There is a not usually one for words, but very much so one who speaks with his eyes. There is an uncharacteristic softness in his eyes, almost as if, at least for a moment, he's trying really super hard for something. Uh, there isn't a smile because smiles look awkward on Dominic, almost foreign on his face, but today there is a gentleness where he seems to be more helpful. But when individuals go to approach him to question him about his demeanor, his candor, sudden shift, it's met with a simple, today's a good day. Today is a day where today's a good day. Not finishing the last statement, but mostly watching and answering questions. But through the pack link, it's a little bit more disturbing as he seems to be going through odd facts, addition, multiplication, subtraction, facts, formulas, but facts, formulas, random destinations, states, their capitals, almost in a matter of fact way. It's almost as if he's trying to push something out. But there is still that quiet, soft gaze in his eyes, willing to answer questions for those that approach him.
And I dare say that at some point, I have not taken the time to post it before this. At some point, probably just before Balka's arrived, even, Grace, you know what? She may be off her tits right now, but she can still sense that something is off kilter in the link, and at the same time see that Dominic is wearing an odd expression, a soft expression, and there has at least at some point been a moment where she just ran up, all bright eyes, all smiles, and didn't necessarily ask anything of him, didn't dig after it, but just reached up to hug the biggeroon around his thick neck, give him a kiss on the cheek, and just say, "Thank you, brother." And, I mean, kind of keep flitting, but took a moment to touch base, to touch in more than just through the link, to acknowledge what he was doing and how much it was appreciated, face to face.
I mean, as soon as she embraces him, he'll embrace her back. There isn't a smile because again, smiles don't really go with Dominic. They're kind of not his thing, but there's a lot of talking and there's a generosity and a softness that comes through and he just simply nods and goes off to be helpful.
Yeah, I dare say with Valka around and in tow. You know what? He doesn't need to know the dance steps. That's the beauty of it. It's just dancing wildly around these paired bonfires. And she's at one point, I'm sure, led him between them, smiling. Not jumping them yet. You have to wait for them to finally burn down some so you can rake out the coals to jump over. But for now, just leading in between and then finally beginning to just dance around them. She won't push alcohol on him, but she does offer. Before she just goes into it.
Maybe later. Maybe later.
But yeah, it's 100% raw enthusiasm. But she just. It's all smiles, it's all jokes, and it's dancing and living and being. It's so good. Every couple she's seen has been recognized as such, has been celebrated as such, has been encouraged to walk between the bonfires. And it's just been kind of appreciated just for existing. Whether they have children yet, whether they mean to have children, it's still part of the celebration.
Does
There's been an awful lot of that.
sorry. Does walking between the bonfires mean anything?
Oh yeah, you go through the fires for luck. Better yet, later we jump over the fire for luck. Grin.
I don't feel. See, I feel like that. Mm,
Oh yeah, is for luck and for fertility and good fortune for the following year. It's good. Sage nodding. She keeps dancing.
if you say so.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sure. He's not convinced.
I'm sorry, I love it when his voice gets shrill. I can't.
Alright, as the fires are continuing to get stoked up, it seems that the moon bridge or opening, you notice that the Fianna in question are kind of paying more attention to and seem to be preparing to welcome whoever's coming through.
Oh yeah, with signs of the bridge actually forming an opening? Fuck it. Time to go that way. Yoink.
Wah!
There you go, buddy.
Right?
What is over there? What is happening? What is going on?
Listen.
Okay, but like, what is going on? Is the moon bridge in the Umbra or is it in the real world?
That's a good question.
It opens into the real world.
Kai. What's going on? What is that? Why is it shiny?
That's a moon bridge. It's so people can travel between ships. It's faster and it's less likely to end in a whole lot of ground beef than trying to ride in an airplane, I tell you that.
Oh,
Big dopey
So-
smile.
so it's like a spirit highway?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool as fuck.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know who's coming and I'm excited.
Okay, sure. Anxious looking.
And as they are the kind of the welcoming, these three Fiannas step back, and I totally just closed the book I needed. Awesome. All right, and a group of Guru come out. Three of them are moving and are in Hamid. One of them is a in lupus. He's black with kind of a grayish mane to him. Two females and a male in Hamid, and the Fianna who are welcoming the group actually kind of, even the elder gives a respectful bow. Obviously not terribly deep. He's an elder, and speaks up and says, "On behalf of the Sept of Riddling Waters and our Alpha, we welcome you. Thank you for joining us for this holiday. the one in the lead here is, if he's not as big as Bosco, he's at least as big as Eric, and has a large silver blade strapped to his back. Although not as large as one of the women with him, who is actually carrying a full Zweihander. And the other woman carries a pair of long knives. All of them dressed fairly traditional, kind of leather armor, like hunting leathers type. And he nods back and he says, "Well, we appreciate the opportunity to join you. Hopefully this will be a grand event. It will lead to even greater things for the Sept and the city." And as he turns, he raises his voice to everyone else and he says, "On behalf of all of those in my pack, we wish to thank everyone who has taken the time to engage in tradition and prepare the Sept for such a wondrous," and he kind of nods towards the fires, "and sacred event." As they walk out, every one of you can smell from the pack just a mess of Fianna pure breed and Get pure breed. They're kind of looking around, and one of them looks at Grace, and the woman with the long knives looks at Grace and says, "I see some of them start their celebrations early."
Does she have Getter Fianna?
She has Fianna pure breed.
I wish I had the GIF. Tona, please like the GIF. As she does not just bare a throat, she does not flop on her back. She is in a good, happy place and over the top. And she flips into this amazingly deep bow, saying,
Your Majesty.
it's the Your Magic. Yeah, it's that one. You know the GIF I'm talking about. But she just flips forward into a bow and goes, "Well, begging your pardon, we'd hardly be creatures of passion if we didn't do everything to full tilt. Can't afford to be going halfway." And without an introduction, she is not gonna call him Brian. She has no idea who these people are. Went right there. I'm sad.
She nods and she says, "You're not wrong, but the people of passion haven't yet arrived." And she turns and looks, and she says to the elder Fianna of the Sept, she says, "Elder, I am pleased to say that when your invitation went out to all those of the blood of Fion, we received word that a number of our fey-blooded cousins from the Isles will be joining us as well." She turns and she says, "I am Lena Denan, known as Fion's Feely, born under the Gibbish moon, a daughter of Stag, and born on 2 legs. I am Athro of the Guru Nation, and I am pleased to see that you have embraced tradition and your passion with such vigor. And she looks back at the Fianna Elder and she says, if this one is exemplary of the enthusiasm of your sept, I suspect it will be a very exciting visit.
Meanwhile, Bauker's just standing there like, what is happening? He has no idea.
I mean, from her corner. I mean, fuck it. Yeah, with the with the praise given, she's not going to say it loudly. She's not going to interrupt. It's just like, oh, thank you, Ray. Still flopped over in the ridiculous bow because she hasn't been given permission. It's any wonder how she's still upright. There's a balancing act going on.
The larger man nods and gestures, and he says, well, I appreciate your formality. Celebration like this, you're not going to be able to stand there very long in that position. And he gestures for you to stand up.
He says this as the wobbling intensifies, and she finally woofs up with a bit of a stumble. Oh, thank you kindly, Ray. Bumps into Valka, kind of doop.
He looks around and he says, I am Gregor McManus, and we got word that my distant cousins on my father's side, the Norse clan of Magnusson, had called for support. And as we sent our cousins to find out why Clan Magnusson gathers the family and the blood to him, we determined, and he kind of snarls a little bit, and he says, that our cousins have lost honor. They have lost the way. And they forget what it means to earn position. We're here for your celebration, but we are also here to put an end to this farce of Magnusson leadership. He turns and looks, and he says, I am Gregor McManus, the hunter's flame, born under the full moon on 2 legs, a son of Stag and elder of the Gru nation. I am the Rai of the Fianna of the Sept of Lunas Forest Fury, and I stand as representative of the Brotherhood of Hern. We will celebrate tonight. We will call forth the flames, and we will show my broken cousins, the Magnussons, that even a forest, frozen forest, will melt in the face of our fury. He gestures and he says, we have with us the other 2 members of our pack as well. Christina dances with steel. A foster newly joined the pack, a daughter of Fenrir, born under the half moon on 2 legs. And I have Warlock, also called among his woven brothers Grim, born on 4 legs under the new moon. The son of Fenrir and Adrin of the nation. I am pleased to hear that the hunter is honored not just this night, but on all nights in this sept, and that indeed he has a pack that has embraced his tenants. He looks around and he says, and since I think we've all had enough formality, I am pleased to say that we have brought another show of solidarity between the Get and the Fianna. And he turns and gestures behind him, and they roll out a couple of large wooden barrels. And he says, I've brought with me awakened mead, made by the Fianna and the Get together of our sept, and awakened by our alpha at the sept itself. He picks up one keg on one shoulder, and you can kind of see the muscles bulging in his neck as he does. And he walks towards the fires, and he kind of laughs and says, come, let us celebrate, let us drink, let us burn things. In the days to come, the blood will be as red as the flames. And he starts heading towards the fires carrying a keg. If anyone has BSD lore or worm lore, they can roll a perception and lore check.
Well, that is a hell of a statement.
Yeah, no
Right?
joke.
Ooh. I thought I had my sheet open and I didn't, so I can't even.
Can someone link the dice roller?
Alternatively, you can make a Guru lore at Diff 9.
Okay. I know I have Guru.
You said it's perception lore?
Yes. Guru lore is Diff 9. Worm or BSD lore will be standard Diff.
No, just Guru, so. Oh, come on, really? This ought to be good. You said it was Diff 9 for Guru lore?
Yep.
Wow, I actually had 2 successes.
I'm just going to confess that Grace is way too intoxicated to pick up on some subtle shit. then I will abstain.
All right. Is Eric rolling at diff 9 or 6?
Diff 9.
So we have one. Dominic, you have BSD or Wormlore, don't you?
Yep, based off the shit you gave me. Mhm.
That's right. So you got 3 successes with him.
Mhm.
Right. So all 3 of you will notice that his sword has wormish glyphs on it, but they appear to have been filled in with gold.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh wow, he's that kind of badass. Gotcha. Mhm. That's just a nod of the head. Of the opinion that those that know will know, and those that don't know, it's above them, not important.
Okay.
All right.
I'm assuming the party just started back up now that they were bringing meat out.
Yeah, and you do see other people joining.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, Grace is pointing out to Balka, like, oh, and that one there, that's a Fionn. That's a like Fionn, and that means they're like Fiona royalty. Grin.
Really now?
Our
That's pretty
guy's
crazy.
name is Romek Fionn.
Oh.
Didn't know technically we don't pass on thrones and stuff through lineage, but they're still a very respected family, and so pretty much the equivalent of royalty for simplicity's sake.
Gotcha. This is a bit. Wow. Okay. Sure.
Oh yeah, that is insane. And I'm pretty sure I'm eventually gonna realize what's happening, and I'm gonna faint. So you just be ready to play catch, okay? Pats his shoulder.
I feel like I'm at a disadvantage here.
But first, I'm gonna dance more, and then I'll faint. Okay.
Don't faint. We've got things to do later.
Oh, I'll wake back up. It's okay. Don't
Whatever,
you
I'm
worry.
just-
Very motivated. I'll do it with gusto.
I'm coming with you to make sure you're not fainting. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Whatever. Just fucking lead the way, crazy person.
Yay. Yeah. I mean, if he wants to follow, he can follow. She'll keep a hold of his hand if he wants. She doesn't care. She is.
Okay, has no idea what he's doing, so he may as well tag along behind Grace.
Eric continues to observe.
All right, so as you guys are continuing to celebrate, they do pause as another group, a smaller group, but a group of 3 individuals arrive. All of them are, Fiona, you can tell, have high absurdly high Fianna pure breed. But the male leading the group pretty much looks like he just walked off of a modeling catalog. From game terms, his appearance is actually above 5. And with him are another man and a woman. As they walk up to the party, even the elder of the pack that arrived kind of gives them a small bow. And the woman who had come with him, Lena, gives a more formal greeting and turns to talk to the other Fianna who had greeted them. And then she turns back and says, I assume that this is when the fun starts. And the very good-looking man says, we'll try not to leave anyone in too rough a state.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Do any of them look like Fae or look weird? Because I'm permanently enchanted.
Yeah, all 3 of them do.
Okay. So what do they look like?
Well, the man does. He's just a very good looking. But when you look at him, because you are enchanted, he looks like he just left like a court, like a medieval court. Full tunic, rapier at his side, pointed boots, the whole smash. The woman who is with him is also attractive, although not quite on his level, and she's wearing a gown, like a courtroom ball gown type. And but the third man to you can see that he has small curling horns and cloven feet. And I think you have, I don't know if you have Fey lore or not.
No, I didn't take any lore because I
so.
played it at like
He doesn't
I'm
know yet.
completely new to any of this.
And when the man says, the man in front says that they'll keep it mild, the other man kind of chuckles and pulls out a flask, and he says, right, mild. He looks around, and he actually looks at Grace, and he looks back at him, at the man, and he says, Eamon, you're fucking out of your mind if you think it's going to stay mild. I just got here, and she's already halfway there.
Grace.
What? Who? What?
See those 3 people? Those 3 people that just got here?
Yeah.
Don't they look funny to you? Like they look, holy shit.
Slow head tilt. I don't know what she's munching, but it's going to represent the fact that I'm eating pizza. I mean, I don't recognize them, if that's what you mean.
I mean, that one looks like he has horns and looks like a goat.
Oh, what? Turns like just looks at what?
That guy has like it's really no,
Is
he's fucking gorgeous, but he has like pointy ears.
He's pretty attractive. I'm not gonna lie. If I hadn't met you, I'd say I'd hit him like the fist of an angry god. Sage nod. Such a slow, happy nod.
I'm glad I'm secure in my position.
Oh yeah.
But they look, I don't know, they can they look weird. Kind of. I mean, they don't look weird.
Is it kind of like when you're looking at me, I looked really big?
No, it's
oh,
not at all.
No?
No, I mean, that
Oh.
guy himself, I don't know how to describe it. That guy has goat legs, Grace, goat legs.
That seems like a problem. They should see someone about that. Like slowly head tilting, still watching the guy. Like I'm not saying it. I swear to God, I'm trying. Head tilts one way, head tilts the other way.
What do you mean you're not seeing? Oh,
Does that normally happen?
sometimes,
Like with people?
sometimes.
Oh. Oh, I don't see it. I've seen someone with horns before, but he doesn't have horns. Or I can't see his horns.
I mean, he has ones that, like, the guy carries like a rapier, and the woman has like a really courtly gown, and it's some insane shit.
That sounds pretty. Except for the
that's-
goat legs, that sounds problematic.
That sounds straight out of a fucking fairy tale.
I feel like stairs would be a real issue if you had little goat legs.
That would be a problem.
So as they're kind of whispering back and forth, the this one in charge steps forward and he says, "I am Ivan Makumil. My companions tonight are Megan Nadunan," and he looks and he kind of shakes his head. He takes the flask from the shorter man, puts it in his pocket, and he says, "This enthusiastic gentleman with me is Angus O'Connell. We'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to join you for this celebration. We hope to have a pleasant evening full of libations. And to, in the morning, discuss the possibility of an extended stay." He looks at the Fianna elder, recalls the circle, and he says, "And you, good sir, as the ranking elder resident of our tribe, we have brought, as is the custom, gifts for the host, which we can deposit wherever you would like." And he actually takes out, to the rest of you guys, it looks like a briefcase, but to our wonderful permanently enchanted fellow, you can see that this was like a inlaid chest, like a jewelry box type inlaid chest.
Holy shit!
Oh, what?
That's a fucking jewelry box. What is in it? I don't know. I
What?
can't see.
That's it looks like a briefcase.
I mean, I know it looks like that, but it doesn't. I know it is.
Okay.
Bauk is so intent on these people. He's just like, wow.
The guy you said has the goat legs as my name. Yeah.
He does have your name. Is he family or yours?
I mean, logically, probably.
Huh? Are they also Guru?
I don't know. I
feel
will
like-
go and ask when they stop doing really official looking shit that looks important.
True. I feel. How much mead have you drank so far?
Oh, it was beer, and I've been drinking since about 6 this morning.
It was, sorry, go ahead.
No, it was pretty much that. Just like you. Oh, that's it.
As they head over towards the fire, they actually have behind them what seems to be a self-propelled cart. It looks like a tea cart would be in like a court or like a English tea cart with a large flat tray, golden inlay, a lot of very nice polished wood. But it is covered in food of every sort. There are roasted meats, there are fruits, there are cheeses, nuts, and the shorter one that they said was named Angus is kind of eating. He slows down so he can walk next to it and pick off of it as it rolls along behind them.
A true hero.
And he comes up and as they get closer, Eamon says, "Don't stand in the way of the ceremonies on us. We're here to participate, not to dictate." And recalls the circle, kind of comes up, and he's in Hamid, and he's dressed in like a very traditional woolen or woven robe, carrying a walking stick type staff. He says, "Right then, well, I suppose we should begin, or people will let the party get ahead of the ceremony and not be able to keep up." And he just kind of looks around the group without really specifically targeting anyone. That's when you guys notice Connor, the guardian, is standing at the back, and even he's drinking a bit. And he kind of looks a little abashed and puts down his cup. And he kind of shrugs and says, "What? I'm not on duty tonight." And the elder shakes his head a little bit, and he says, "Before I get ahead of myself, thank you all for joining us. As those of you who may not be as familiar with our customs, tonight is Beltane, the celebration of the coming of summer, the welcome of the warm season. We rejoice in the coming fertility of Gaia and of the earth. We embrace it as we welcome Bridget, goddess of healing and fertility. Also the goddess of flame and the sun. We rejoice as we celebrate Cernunnos, god of the hunt, the great hunter, who brings bountiful harvests of meat. And we will be calling upon the Get and their totem, the fire drake, the embodiment of their flame and heat in summer. But first and foremost, We have lit the sacred fires. Many of you have already begun to dance around them. We will call forth Bridget at the flames of the first fire. We will roast meat over the flames of the second one for Cernunos. And then we will defer to the Get, who have their own plans for the third fire. And he kind of chuckles and he says, and I'm sure it will be stunning as always. He turns to the fire itself. We invite the great Bridget to join us. Goddess of fertility, inspiration, creativity, of creation. He draws forth and he says, first I give to Bridget an offering, hand carved, the bones and stones carved in the old language. He throws them into the fire. On behalf of the Sept, I give water, sacred waters from our totem's pool. Water gives us life. It nourishes. And he takes a bowl and dumps the water into the flames. On behalf of our guests, I give mead. And he picks up a whole barrel over his head like he's going to throw it in, and he kind of looks around, waiting to see if anyone's going to react. And then he kind of smirks and he taps the keg and lets some of it pour in. And then sets it behind him. And he chuckles and he says, it's an offering, not a sacrifice to make us miserable. And he chuckles a little bit and he says, I invite anyone else who has offerings for Bridget, patron of smiths, poets.
So what do you do in these situations?
Well, Honor Bridget, if you want to make an offering to Bridget, you make one.
Don't really have anything.
I mean, she's a goddess of poets and whatnot, too. Could always offer it, like the little acting bits you do with me if you want it. You don't have to.
Do you throw that into the fire then?
No,
No,
you
I
just
was-
perform before the fire. You stand, up there, pointy, pointy.
Can I do that? I thought.
And all friends, Jiminage is Jiminage. And I got her these, and I'm about to throw it in myself. And she, holds up, a fistful of, some of the flower crowns. Because, Grace, bless her heart, is not a craftsman. But she has made something, and things made with your hands still count. And for what it's worth, she has significantly jumped down from slam ass wasted, having taken a moment to cheat and to hang out in Glabro until she got down to tips. So she's not going to make a big affair of it. She's not going to say a lot, but she'll go ahead and ease up and, make a respectful approach to the fire. Fling it in probably whatever flower crown she has left that she hasn't handed out to others to welcome them into the whole celebration. And then just does the respectful little back pedal.
Sure, I'll do something. I'm going to perform a bit of a play for Brigitte. God damn it, Link. Shut up. Yeah, no, just say a couple of lines, do a couple of steps, do a song and dance. Just do a thing. Do you need me to roll that, John?
No, that's fine.
Okay. And yeah, when that is all said and done, Balco will kind of look, be a bit awkward, and then slide away.
The arm just comes up like, come here, this is the spot.
At this point, Dominic, still quiet, still that resolute look in his eyes. More or less, it looks as if the pain in his eyes has become a little bit too familiar, and it almost seems that it's taken the place of the joyfulness that was in his eyes before. But nonetheless, for that is his. He above all else is a child of Falcon, and as commitment to his new family, he is pushing through whatever is eating at him and uncomfortableness it's inflicting. Way over to the flames, and he will assume he will move up until Glabro, take a knife out of his pocket, and subsequently, as a sign of humbleness and a sign of submission to the fact that the only thing a person like Dominic could give in the purest form is himself. So he will take the knife and carve out both of his eyes and throw it into the fire.
I'm not gonna lie, there's kind of an alarmed response. Grace will not try to stop him, but when she realizes it, it's like, oh, hey, blood chiminage. Oh, that's not blood chiminage. Oh, God. There's
Placing it in.
do?
He took a knife, gouged his eyes out, and threw it into the fire.
What the fuck?
Falco gonna get a generalized kind of stay there gesture, and depending on how well Dominic is able to move afterwards. Or he's just going to ease up, preparing to kind of
point-
take an elbow.
It's a thing. I will now roll my willpower. No, I actually don't. I will just spend its point of rage, resist pain. Fuck it. And he will take a knee. And probably not until the end to see that it's actually something that is monumental. He'll just take a knee by the fire and feeling the warmth will just simply he will just simply wait. Yeah, that's the thing. And through the pack link, it's still that even talking rhythmic of addition, multiplication, subtraction, random states, going through the motions, random capitals, going through the menu of Skyline Diner, the lunch special, the dinner special, what's on it, how much it costs with substitutions. And at the barest ends of it, you can see that he's actually trying his damnedest to push something out of his brain, but probably because of the emotions that he's in right now, you're hearing the briefest glimpses of it. There is a very deep there's something very deep seated that he is closing that he is holding close to himself, almost like a lover. Yep, and that's what I do.
And everyone else is just kind of stops for a second, and you hear a voice from back in the crowd, and he goes, I wouldn't spirit. I only gave one eye, and I got a hell of a lot better return on it. And then,
It's not about the return alphas, but what you're willing to give for yours and your family. That's the point of Chimnish, as I've been led to believe.
and the one in back actually comes forward, and he's you can see it's a kinfolk engram, and he says, that's true, but an offering is generally supposed to be an exchange as well. But I respect your commitment to you and yours. And he kind of gives a bow. Not that you can entirely know that, but you can at least feel the movement a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he steps back into the crowd, and we recalls the circle, nods, and says, your devotion is indeed to be respected. May you and yours find prosperity, fertility, and success. The woman who had come with the pack steps forward, pulls out her harp, and she plays a brief song in a very traditional Irish Gaelic style. Before bowing and stepping back. The leader of these three Fae that had arrived Eamon steps forward and he pulls out a small bag and like a woven linen bag, and he casts it in and says, "A small sample from the seeds of our winter stocks. We were fortunate to have bountiful overflow even after the spring planting. It seems appropriate we offer some back." And then he steps back and recalls the circle, says, "Is there anyone else that wishes to make an offering?" And if he doesn't see a response, he's going to step back and steps up to the fire. And he says, "Brigid, accept these offerings. Bring us warm summers. Bring your fire to our battles, your blessings to our forges. And may prosperity and fertility grace our sept in the coming season." And with for a brief moment, you can actually see the woman pictured here in a gown with a sword, kind of wreathed in the flames, in the center of the bonfire, and she kind of looks at the group, giving anyone the opportunity to address her. So if anyone wants to say anything to Brigid directly, now is your window. Otherwise, she will turn back to the recalls the circle and give him a formal bow. And I need everyone to roll me. Let's see here. This would be so much easier if we were using vampire, because they just have a self-control. I don't know what the nearest. Probably
Willpower?
just probably a willpower.
Willpower.
Yeah, well, willpower would be good, or a yeah, let's go with that.
So we're rolling straight willpower?
Yep,
Okay,
What'll be the difficulty?
that will be standard.
Okay.
with that, I will shift up into Krynos to heal the lethal. And then shift back down on the Hamid. Cause metamorph.
Oh,
You got a botch, sir.
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh dear.
Who got a botch?
I don't see a botch.
I don't see a botch.
No, because he did have successes, so it's not a botch. It's just a failure.
My bad. I saw the -1 in there. I thought that would have been a botch.
No, a botch means he'd have ones, but no successes. That was just revised. That was brutal about that, where negatives were all botches.
Yeah, you can hover over the little eye icon to see the actual dice.
Right. Yeah, and 20th is a little more forgiving. You have to have ones and no successes against them. Although if you're Holly, statistically you'll get one somewhere.
Yeah.
It looks like everyone else succeeded other than Dominic.
No, he succeeded.
Yeah, Willow's the only one who failed, I think.
Yeah, I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry. All right.
I mean, it makes sense. He is a weak little menace.
Yeah, and ironically, given how metas tend to react to certain passions, but you are filled with the. Everyone else is kind of mellow, but when you're all kind of feeling, you can start to feel some of those, passions. You're getting a little more fired up and stuff, but Willow, whether it's because recently arrived or because of being Metis, it's hard to say, but you're really fired up. Like it's one of those you need to let off steam somehow, whether it's, you're not necessarily looking for a fight, but you're looking to blow off some sort of steam, whether it's go for a run or whatever, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. As the poor people who have not been exposed to it at this point will totally be exposed to it as his happy ass reverts to breed form and starts taking a run.
And you notice that you're not the only one. There's a couple other ones that are doing the same thing. And as you guys are continuing to take your jog, Brigid kind of fades away, and the even recalls the circle kind of seems to have to shake himself a little bit. And he gestures and he says, before we move on, I suggest a brief recess for anyone who might need to recuperate from the intensity of Brigid's visit. And he moves over to one of the kegs.
Are we gonna check up on Dominic?
Yeah, I'm gonna go check up on Dominic. Go ahead and keep close.
Sure.
And yeah, Grace is finally gonna ease up. And honestly, where is Dominic sitting in a particular place? Like, where is he?
Assuming after that display, much of the kinfolk and individuals have taken a very natural wide breath from him. He is currently with a napkin in his hand, wiping the blood from his eyes, blinking a few times. With a glass of water, sort of trying to get the blood out, blinking a few times.
Yeah, Grace isn't going to interrupt him. She's just going to, honestly, when he finally plunks down wherever he's going to plunk down, we'll just plunk down next to him. And in the meantime, just kind of sends a tentative pulse of like very wholesome support for what he's done. She's not going to question him here and now. That's not the place for it. Not at length, anyways. But
Mm.
it's kind of a checking in attempt, a wordless one, so she doesn't draw a lot of attention, but still sitting alongside.
After that display and the emotions from Brigid, and after the display of like raw emotion, it's one of those moments that you see someone that's at the edge, but they're using all of their willpower just to keep it together. And it's one of those moments that if you ask, "Are you okay?" It's one of those clear answers. Is the answer is no, but
Yeah.
this day is about you, so let's get through the day.
Yep. No, she'll look down, and honestly, she's he's teetering. He's teetering real good. So it'll just be a glance over and just I'm right here beside you.
There's a nod, but still a very strong feeling coming through the pack link of self-hate and abandonment comes through strong. But as soon as he like feels like it's coming off a little bit too hard, it goes back up in a ball, tightly wound up, and then you hear the same rhythmic addition, multiplication, and the whole nine, wounding it back up. Stuff it back in the box. And after a while, noticing that Grace is still there, go get your kinfolk. It's fine. You're making a scene.
I am right here.
Why are you here?
Because I too am concerned, young man.
Wow. What are you concerned about, Falco?
About
Use words.
it's not every day I get to see someone take a knife to their own fucking eyeballs and throw them into a fire.
Okay. That's a fair. You're handling better than most.
The the small guy with the that you see with the horns and stuff. To everybody else, he's just a little bit shorter guy. He comes over with his flask and he looks around. He says, "Well, maybe you need to up your parties then, lad."
Whoa!
And a nod of appreciation because that line of questioning has stopped.
He holds out his flask towards Dominic and he looks around and he says, "You didn't get a chance to get a personal introduction earlier." And he looks at Boca and at Grace and he holds out his hand and he says, "Dominguez O'Connell. Pleasure to be invited and to join you guys, and that was quite a display. You'd that's what you're like at a ceremony. I'd love to see what you're like at an actual party."
Would you believe I've never been to an actual party?
Yeah,
Deadpan face. Like,
just kind of chuckles and looks around and says, "Yeah, it's not quite as hard to believe as you'd think, but if you ever decide you need a party, let me know."
This is pretty wild. Not gonna lie.
And since the poor guy's got a hand stuck out there, Grace
shake
will
his
take
hand.
it. Yeah. If no one else does, Grace will take it. Just seems so rude to leave a man hanging.
Balco will shake his hand as well and just kind of ask, Can I ask a really weird question?
Of whom?
Of Angus, good sir.
Give your name. Or
Oh,
at least
but-
tell your name first.
My name is Balco Deval. How do you do?
Quite well, yourself?
Little freaked out. I'm not too used to all this. I only got here just like But yes, I have something to ask if you don't mind me asking a question.
Not at all.
So yeah, how is the look work? Like, cause you're here, but like you have the horns and the legs, you know.
He looks down, looks at the rest of you guys who, of course, don't see this. Looks down again, looks back, and he goes, "Oh, son of a bitch, there's just all kinds at the party tonight."
Excuse me?
He kind of gets up closer to you and grabs holds the flask up, and he says, "Well, you see, laddie, the rest of them are assuming you're off your fucking rocker, but that you're already drunk because
No, yeah, well, yeah, I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of shit every day.
they just assume I'm in maybe a shorter and slightly alcoholic party animal."
Yeah, no, because that's what I asked. Because like when I saw you and you looked different and I described it, people just thought I was crazy. But like you look like that, don't you?
No, well, see, I do and I don't. See, there's two sides to folks like myself and Eamon and Megan there, and see, we're Fae folk, so we got both sides, and we, Fae live in another realm, so to speak, and we kind of bridge the gap. So what you're seeing is the other side, the side the rest of them don't see, which means either you drank some damn good shit, and if so, I'd like to find out what, or more likely, you got some Fae blood in you, and it's enough that you're peeking through the curtain, so to speak.
Huh.
So, if I can be frank, he doesn't need the medication then.
I've not been taking medication for like a fucking month now. No, not a month, like a week now. So I've seen that other side for like the entirety of my life, and I just thought I was going insane. But it's just another world.
Right. So if you think of it like shadows laid over the top of this one. And,
Yeah, because like it's like an overlay, right?
right. Well, some animals can see ultraviolet or that sort of thing. It's kind of the same idea. You're seeing a layer of this world that other people can't see.
Grace, I'm not crazy.
I thought we already determined that. I never thought you were crazy.
But I'm double not crazy now.
Fond hair ruffle.
No,
Not
I
gonna lie,
assumed
if
he
she's
was
got like a
crazy, but at least it's just nice confirmation.
not
I
gonna
think
lie,
so.
she's got the most like adorably like very passively so, but territorial arm around the kinfolk because it's like, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, but they take your babies.
Like,
Oh, so yeah, there's a territorial arm, like probably just kind of draped around his back, but just like the mine, 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 mine.
So, oh, you know what that means. You know what that means. You know what that means.
No.
That means my grandparents have this shit as well. My uncle has this shit as well.
Oh.
My niece has this shit as well.
Oh yeah. Sounds like. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have any idea what to do about that.
So what should we do?
I don't fucking know.
Asking the satyr. Like,
Oh, God, excuse me.
because they're having a freak out. It seems someone has to ask the actual questions. Like,
Well, it can be learned to some degree, especially for those who are in the know a little bit. It is possible to learn to kind of close your eyes. Think of it like squinting to block out too much glare. Don't really squint, people think you got something wrong with you.
is this like a conscious effort on his part?
Initially, it will be. Over time, he'll develop the ability to do it kind of unconsciously, but it's something that can be done.
Okay, is there anything Grace can do to sort of help him through it?
Well, taking him seriously when he explains what he's seeing and help him, kind of describe the part you're seeing so he can help to differentiate between which one's which. Because whatever you're seeing is going to be this world. The stuff you're not seeing that he's seeing is the other world. So if he can learn to focus more, kind of like one of those optical illusions where if you learn to focus on a certain spot, the rest kind of disappears or whatever.
Not gonna lie, at the take him seriously part, you see that expression on the left there? The bro. Like, that is the expression.
Is there a possibility that the things that Valka might see would be the same as like a drunken hallucination?
I mean, is it possible? Yeah. More likely, what he's seeing is really there, just not where other people can access it.
I guess you really are lucky.
I don't know what that entails, but sure, we'll go with it.
The lucky part was more towards Grace.
Oh. Oh, sure.
There's like the thumbs up. I know
Grace.
how to pick them. Oh,
Grace.
yes.
I'm gonna need some meat.
Okay, this can be arranged.
I feel like I'm done with inhibitions for now, at least.
Well, that's the spirit of Beltane right there. Pat, pat.
Yeah. Although it's no, let's go that way.
And as everyone's kind of returning from their runs and whatnot and recalls the circle, heads back towards the next fire. At least they're bringing out a couple of animals and on spits and set them up over the fire. And as they do, Eamon kind of says, personally do enjoy a nice fire roasted deer, but given the holiday and the company, we thought we would opt out of that one. Nothing wrong with dining on deer provided you show proper respect, but on a celebration feast it didn't seem prudent. Yeah. Gestures and he says, so instead tonight we have a boar and a number of rabbits that we were able to garner, and a couple of salmon and other large fish. We did a little thought we would mix it up a little bit, but we brought to honor Carnunos. He as he calls the circle, steps up to the fire. He says, today we rejoice and honor as well Cernunnos the hunter. We ask for blessings for the coming hunt, the coming season that we garner for our feast successful and bountiful hunts. As these roasts, we give the opportunity to give offerings to those who wish. And when the festival or the rituals have completed, we will dine in Cernunnos' name. He turns and he says, we also recognize and honor the pack dedicated to the hunter. Though most of your hunts involve the enemies of the nation, you embody his traits and his essence through your actions and through how you carry yourself. Whether it is hunting out agents of the worm or hunting down those who would undermine the nation for their own gain. And he kind of bows to all of you who are of the hunter's pack. Then he turns and he says, to the hunter, I personally offer not just the fortunes of my own hunt, but also the bounty that I have invested my own time. And he takes and unwraps a small fur, throws the fur in it, and he says, both the fur pouch that I use for my baits and the jerky from my last kill, the first one, or the last one of winter. On behalf of the Sept, we offer up a substantial harvest of fish. Costly because we have limited supplies due to some of our sources not able to provide. But more important as well because of that, because it is a sacrifice with a cost. An offering that the Sept as a whole pays for by going a bit hungrier each night until we recoup. If anyone else has offerings they wish to make, now is the time. Otherwise, we will revisit the hunter when it is time to feast.
There we go. Sorry about that. I was trying to talk there for a minute. Yeah. Willow has an offering. He'll have a very meager one, but he'll go up to where it is, bow his head briefly, and give the only weapon he has. He will give his pocket knife that he has carried with him for years to the hunter. That's it.
The elder kind of gives you a look and a nod. And as you turn to walk away, he offers you his walking stick. It has served me on many travels and hikes, inconspicuous enough to carry most places, potent enough to serve your needs in nearly every travel.
I accept it gratefully. And he will take it in his hands and hold it like you would a small child as he walks back to his resting spot.
Dominic will move forward towards the hunter. He will assume Krynos and he will extend his claws and then begin breaking off his claws, afflicting a point of 2 points of lethal, and hand them over.
Amon looks at the Fianna of the Sept and says, "You don't know where you found this guy, but he needs to get more recognition. Someone's not doing him due justice." Then Gregor just looks and he says, "Well, shit, if he's this serious at ritual, I want to go into a battle with him. Pretty sure this son of a bitch is going to tear someone apart with his bare hands. Like in Hamid."
Someone who has been recognized by Great Fenris and is a child of Falcon. Much more is expected of me.
Yeah. Nods as well, and they head towards the towards the third pit, and the recalls the circle gestures, and he says, "Here we will honor the fire drake, and for that I leave it to the Get, as it is their totem." And oh, excuse me. As you as everyone gathers, one of the Yetta Fenris comes forth, and it's not one most recognize. He seems to be newer here, but he looks around and he says, "I am." Actually, I didn't hit send. Air would recognize him, which would be the message I didn't send. So that's great.
Oh, fuck me running. Okay. Sorry.
He looks around and he says, "I am Thorgrim Halverson, known to as Fenrir's Fury, born under the crescent moon on two legs, and Athro of the Gru Nation, son of Fenrir. I come as the Sept lacks the theurge versed in this practice from our tribe. I come to check on one who has studied under me. Tonight, we give blessing and offering to the fire drake, who comes with great hunger to claim that which he will conquer and to burn that which stands in his way. He gestures and he says, our offerings are different, for fire drake's hungers differ as well. And he turns and walks into the trees, and as he walks back out, he has before him a couple of bound forms. And he says, this is a sept of the sea drake. It is an offering to the fire drake. he turns and he says, there are those in the city that disrespect what it means to worship the dragons, the great dragons of the old tales. Or they make mockery of it. He pushes one forward and he says, this one here follows the serpent Jormungandr and thinks that this is a righteous drake, a true dragon, rather than a serpent of corruption. We give this misguided servant to you, Fire Drake. And he pushes that one into the flames. And then he takes the other one and he says, and this one, who's been captured, left on this sept shamed, but all the while watching. And he actually spits on him and he says, you disgust me. Even as a child of Grandfather Thunder, this is low. You disgrace our heritage. He turns and he says, this one is a servant in secret to the spirit of Nidhogg who devours the roots of the world. He seeks to bring about darkness and eternal night. He worships Nidhogg as if he were a righteous and glorious dragon, rather than recognizing him for what he is, a lurker in the shadows, nothing more than a scavenger. And he actually pushes the Shadow Lord, and it's one that some of you guys may have seen around Sept. He was living in a box shelter.
Oh, that guy?
And he pushes him into the flames. And when he turns to try to step back out, he actually gets he snaps at him with a silver whip and says, stay where you are, offering. You have some dignity in death that you lacked in life. And he stands and watches as the Guru burns. And he turns and he says, this is the way of the Norsemen, of the Get. You take that which we conquered, that which we have gained in victory, and give it to those who bless us. And he turns and he says, I invite at this point anyone who wishes to give offering to the Fire Drake to do so. But remember, the Fire Drake is a fickle dragon. A covetous beast. And if your offering is not worthy, he will take the difference from you.
Dominic will step up. And he will approach Fire Drake. No, there's still more to give. Like, you know this.
Damn it, Anthony. I'm not hardcore enough, but damn it.
Listen, if it means anything, I learned werewolf from Max and you. So yeah, we're gonna go there tonight, kids.
We did this, man. We did this.
You're entirely responsible for all of this.
Did nothing. Nothing at all.
He will, with natural metamorph, assume Krynos. Very painful thing. Once you regrow your claws. So I'll take that point of rage. And then he will gouge out his insides. Would you like me to roll damage?
No, that's fine.
John is just sitting there like, whatever, dude.
Don't.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Don't botch a stam check. Just don't botch a stam check.
Okay.
Dude, that shit crazy.
Yo, too much Game of Thrones. That's what happens. That's that.
Anthony, you know what you need?
What?
I need you to see this light. Let me show it to you. There you go.
Oh.
The light in my hands.
Y'all mofos need Falcon.
Falcon is here. That's the problem. Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. That's a good old 3-ag right there. Right there in the gullet. And we roll stamina. See what happens. And that is that. Yeah. Oh! 1 point of ag. I'll say for thematic purposes, he rips out his liver. Because that's ag, right? Yeah. And it's over his liver.
I feel like you need to take a chill pill, young man.
Never.
If anyone pays attention to Air, she's kind of got a piece of bark and it looks like she's putting something on it. Writing
Yeah.
something on it.
Thank you for being at the edge. Thank you for saving me from my own idiocy. Don't let anyone tell you different.
Fly yourself.
Someone, I
unless
hope
you're
I've gotten
bloody
it really
yourself.
clear that someone needs to have a sit down with Dominic. I don't know how much more I have to spell it out.
Nope. Doesn't count until you bloody will yourself.
God damn it, Link, don't do this. No,
I'm a bad
no.
influence, Max.
No, fuck off. Get the fuck out of here. There's the door. Right fucking there. You take it and leave, young man.
Young
Alright,
man.
I'm being yelled at and chastised. I'm being told to calm the fuck down.
I will fucking stab you
Alright, calm down.
with this knife right here.
The Theurge kind of gives him a nod of approval,
Ow.
and then looks
It
over
hurts. Hurts a lot.
at Air briefly and says, anyone else who has offerings, now would be the time.
Damn it,
You
Anthony,
fired-
you've inspired me.
Fire Drake, as most dragons, covets many things.
You freaking inspire me, Anthony. I don't know if this is going to work, but if you allow it, John, I'm going to take a creative liberty with a lovely little Metis gift of mine, and I'm a shed for this this spirit. I'm going to shed my entire skin and give it to him. Because shed is lovely. I mean, just should be so gross though. This scaly mofo just shedding.
So much glory in this damn scene.
It does make it appropriate.
Nah, the thing is, he doesn't know any better.
So much honor. So much honor.
Okay. Oh God, what is that? That is 4, 7, diff 7. Cool. Yay, success. But yeah, he's literally going to take the time and start peeling his skin off. You know, fresh as the day is born, and literally walk into the fire with it to deliver it, and walk back out.
All right.
Would you like me to make a stamp check?
That'd probably be good.
Okay.
Take that beautiful egg.
Hey, if I take the egg, I take the egg. If I soak the egg, I soak the egg. This is a bonfire. That's like diff 8.
I think we're traumatizing Balka. What the fuck are you guys doing?
I'm a normal person, guys.
Yeah.
What are you doing to
What's
me?
the diff for that, John?
It'll
You
be
said
a
you wanted a crash course on what it means to be a guru. Here you go, enjoy.
What's the diff, sir? I'm sorry.
it will be diff 8.
Okay.
He's done shedding. I'll do my thing.
I got no successes, so I will happily take the requisite amount of ag.
All right. Of course,
I mean, it probably should only take a round, but still.
right. Find a book that actually shows that. I don't know what a round in a fire is. It's not something I generally have to come up with.
It's a
Well,
raging bonfire.
Yeah. It's like diff 8 to soak, and I want to say it's 3 levels of ag per round.
No, raging bonfire is like diff 7 with 2 levels of
It
ag.
was,
And then
yep. It was diff 7, so I apologize. So if that affects your...
It would actually. That would give me 1 success.
Okay, so you soak one of the 2 egg.
Yep, still taking ag.
I assume you're not staying in there more than you have to.
Oh
so
God, no! I'm
one round.
This is a state. This is a show of respect for the spirit to be willing to take the flames of it, and walking my happy ass back out, feeling a little bit toasty and crispy. Thank God for huge size.
So, are we done shedding?
Oh yeah. He comes out smoking.
Okay.
Freaking
All right.
lizard thing.
Lovely. And when Willow is done with his gift, as it were, she's going to walk up with what appears to be a simple piece of bark and put it to the flames.
And he nods. gestures back to the rest of the group, and as everyone completes their offerings, she says, "We welcome the fire drake. But more importantly, we call upon him to join us, as those of us who are visiting are here to help. And as we join the grew of this sept in bringing an end to the sept of frozen forest, to replace warped and twisted, a sept that was never meant to be, that is not truly a sept, and to leaders who are not leaders, but are power-hungry manipulators." And the flames flare up and kind of consume everything, and briefly that is what you see over the fire itself before it dies back down. And he nods and he turns and looks to the rest of the group and recalls the circle turns as well, and he says, "Thank you, Thorgrim, for your joining us and for calling forth your spirit to aid us in the coming conflict. Amon steps forward and he says, "As the ranking noble of the Fey courts present as well, I declare the former freehold that had given itself to become whatever twisted mockery it is now, known as the Frozen Forest, to be outside the courts. It is not a recognized court nor hold. The Fey folk will not interfere in any acts against it, save those who have also stepped outside the courts and embraced the way of nightmares. They have created a perversion, binding a spirit to a hold, awakening a freehold, what your nation decides on this will be up to them and up to you. But we will not act against your nation." And with that, he nods. And recalls the circle turns back. And over the fire, you see this spirit looming. And he carves pieces off of the animals that are there. And in a raspy voice, he gestures to all of you and he says, "Well, what are you waiting for? The hunt was successful. The bounty roasted. Let us feast. And he gestures to Amon. He says, you heard that one. He gestures to Thorgrim and to Gregor, and he says, and you heard them. There'll be a hunt like no other coming. Eat while you can. And then he turns and heads into the forest. And for Dominic, yeah, that was your definitely a more brutal version of your pack totem than you're used to seeing.
He nods.
Slightly traumatized. Not terrified at all.
And
No tears, only flames.
recalls the circle, goes over, and he says, well, you heard the great one. You might as well eat and celebrate.
Takes out a hacky sack and starts tossing it up in his freaking hand.
Yeah, no, I'll walk over to some of the food, take a bit, walk away, sit somewhere, get some alcohol, and just nibble.
Sit far away from people who are shedding their flesh and
Sit
cutting out their
far
body
away.
parts.
Yes, fear the metis.
You get away from me.
Angus will come over to Volka and offer him a horn of mead and say, I got a feeling you could use this there, lad.
Oh, thank you.
He nods and says, some people just don't have appreciation for simple theater anymore. Everything's got to one-up another one.
I don't particularly mind the one-upping. I just mind the mutilation, the cutting, the gouging, and maybe perhaps even the burning.
Oh, that would be what I'm getting at. We just seem to be getting carried away. No one can enjoy a good, simple ritual. Throw a couple offerings, dump a little meat in the fire, roast up a pig. Not a goat, that'd just be rude. Drink some more meat, eat some more. A couple. Have a roll in the flowers.
Have some sex. It'll be fine.
Right.
Just great. No, we gotta burn people now. Here's the thing, right? I don't fucking. See, I discovered all of this like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, turns and says, let me get that meat from you, my lad. You're going to need something a little stiffer.
I'm really bad with alcohol. I'll tell you. So this is more than enough.
He chuckles and he says, oh, yes, I suppose we can stick with drinking if that's what you prefer.
Yeah.
Yes, just give the man some glamoured meat. It'd be great.
I'm already enchanted.
But you don't need any more glamour.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Yeah. Chuckles and said, well, I suppose if you're not interested, then after the main event's over, perhaps you'll have to introduce me to at least one of these fine Irish ladies around here.
The only one that I really know is my girl.
Is she? I suppose you're. Well, I won't want to interfere. I mean, it's hate to come into the middle of something. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, you
but
didn't
you could.
strike me as quite that much of a traditionalist.
I'm still just finding out everything. So just like whatever. We're discussing it. We're discussing. I'm sure you could find a flattering of people just walking around. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I can see people over there. I can see people over there. You know, just like people.
Oh, sure, and I'm sure I'll find one somewhere. But in the meantime, why don't we chat a little bit, and I'll give you a little rundown on what it is you've been seeing.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Teach you. Let's not say teach you, because that sounds an awful lot like a bunch of fucking work. I'll tell you a couple of the old stories while we drink and eat.
Sure.
Maybe you stick to some eating. Don't
Sure.
get carried away with the meat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm down. Like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't really feel like explaining to your girl why you're hanging out with a half-naked goat man when you're passed out from an alcohol. So, have another. He turns and he says, "Oh, hi, Eamon. Send on over the good stuff." And Eamon comes over sends the cart over with a wave, and he turns and he says, "Here, you got to try the sweet rolls. We got this gal back at home. She makes the best sweet rolls. I'm telling you, they're like nothing you've ever fucking had before."
Yeah. Just stuff. Stuff face.
Then he turns and he says, "Right. So let's start with the basics. I'm a satyr. If you're any familiar with the stories, that'll be the
The pan flute thingy.
right. Exactly. Nailed it. And they're pretty accurate. Of all of them, that the myths that bled over into mortal stories were probably the most well remembered. Discounting the part where Norse or Christians kind of hijacked a lot of our image and stuff. But yeah, music, drinking, sex, food, you name it. We try to, obviously don't get involved with all the modern crap because it is exactly what you think it is. There's a lot of the corruption in the new chemistry type shit. Next, we got the she.
Veronica just looks at the offerings.
Megan's your more typical she. Eamon there, he is your high nobility she. He's returned from a lineage returned from Arcadia. The true Fey lands. When the Fey left this world and went somewhere else, now they're coming back. So he's probably as close to a prince as you're going to find. That puts it in perspective. And you think all the old court rules and manners and formalities, that's like for him, those are actual rules. Like he gets kicked out of his family if he screws that up.
Oh. Fun. Gonna get the biddies with the thingies, yeah.
But he'll continue to give you kind of the rundown on the basics of the common faith of the changelings.
Yeah, totes. Balkus just sitting there, nodding his head along. Yeah, absolutely. Drinking the mead, getting drunk, not taking in any of it.
Other than the sweet rolls, that he's taking in.
Oh yeah, those he's taking in spades. He's seen some shit. I
One
blame you,
li-
Anthony.
One little blood sacrifice, and he goes on such a tizzy.
Yeah, no. Get the fuck out of here
Dominic
with
is
your
there.
elitist bullshit.
There's very much so a hole in his chest where there should have been a liver. He's there, in Krynos, resolute and quiet.
Does anybody smell chicken? I kind of smell chicken.
Oh no.
There's an aggravated wound in his chest. It may be leaking.
I am an aggravated wound. Shut up.
Yeah, Air's gonna get some meat and some food.
Veronica, if you want to give me a perception, let's go with alertness.
All right. Give me a moment. Just gotta get the dice roll thing up.
Okay. So it seems like the formality of the rituals has kind of broken down a little bit and it's moved a little more into revelry. The recalls the circle. The elder Theurge comes over to
I got
Dominic.
2 successes.
And says, "Do you like some assistance with that?" With 2 successes, Veronica, you would recognize that one of the offerings was the Shadow Lord that you guys had brought back in shackles and basically shamed and put in a cardboard box.
Is he still alive?
No, he's now burned to death.
Damn.
Although you can tell he was alive when he went in.
Okay. Oh well. No, I wanted to have fun with him. And what anyone will know is Veronica gives no fucks that Shadow Lord was offered.
And there's
So I said, Air was like, I know that guy.
So I know Veronica came in late, but if she wants to make any offerings, there's a fire yet burning to Brigid, the goddess of healing, fertility, and summer, as well as crafts. There is the fire to the hunter, which is where the food's being roasted. And then there is a fire to Fire Drake, where the people were roasted, as well as pieces of Dominic.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Because I don't think none of those associate with Shadow Lords.
Probably not, but
Nope.
But
option is
Brigid,
there.
but Brigid is a Galliard thing. Veronica will
Definitely.
give the torque from the battle that she found off her neck and offer it to Brig.
Okay. And you definitely feel a kind of like a flare in your passion a little bit when you do so. Given the nature of the event here, it's easy enough to keep it in check, but you can tell yourself, you're a little more fired up. You know, you've got more kind of inspiration, that sort of thing.
Okay. Nice.
And then since you weren't here when they were introduced, there are a group of 3 very well-dressed, very nice-looking people. One of whom is talking to the kinfolk Balka, and the other 2 seem to kind of be walking around mingling and dining. There's also a pack of 4. It's a lupus, and then a male and 2 female Homeds. And they pretty much reek of Fianna and Get pure breed.
Wow.
And of silver.
Oh.
And if you have worm lore, BSD lore, you can roll that with the perception if you want. If you don't, you can make a guru lore check at diff 9.
Okay, I was going to ask that. And you said perception?
Yep.
Sorry, I actually put diff 6, but I failed it.
Okay. Yeah, so you're probably just, coming in a little late. You're a bit overwhelmed on everything and trying to take it all in.
It's a lot for a Shellord to take in.
Yeah, I mean, most of this is pretty much foreign to.
Yeah, it's very foreign. That's why she figured it was a good idea to go to this event. I just love that he got to break that shell for Veronica. So what are the 3 people? They look like humans? The ones that identify as Fae?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one male is incredibly attractive, however. Like appearance 7 attractive.
Don't stare at him too long. It's like looking in the sun.
Veronica's faithful, so unless her mate is okay with Veronica being polyamorous, she would never do that. Well, these are interesting notes. Anything else going on significant with the festival?
I mean, it's a lot more drinking and dining and stuff, and there's a lot of the kinfolk around. In fact, yours does come up, and he seems to have been doing some drinking and feasting already.
On the side, there's a kinfolk with one of the other fairies just sitting there eating and drinking, just like, sure, yeah, okay, yeah. Seems a little bit panicked, just a little bit, tiny bit, just a titty bit.
Veronica's going to get herself some mead and join her kinfolk.
Willow is just sitting there with some sort of walking stick. Just a plain old walking stick now that he's holding like a small child.
Rockabye walking stick?
Hey, what do you? Because who was it that gave that to him again? I heard it, but I don't remember.
The Fianna Elder recalls the circle, who is
Okay.
leading the rituals.
When you get a freaking elder give you a gift when you're a Cleath, you tell me you don't hold that thing precious.
Especially a Fianna giving that to you.
Especially Fianna giving it to a menace.
Yeah.
That's
A
big
menace,
deal.
yeah.
While Veronica's going to be respectful, some of it is going to be her enjoying some food and drink and hitting on her kinfolk. because it's Bridget's fault.
Uh-huh.
Anything happens tonight, it is Bridget's fault. We all know that's a Shadow Lord lie, but that is what I'm going with.
Sure, buddy, old pal.
Willow is going to do the Willow thing after a little while and do a faux sneaking up on Veronica like you did last time, except he's doing faux. He's like making himself heard.
Oh, she's totally making that. Same difficulty?
No. Like he's making it obvious. That's the whole point.
Oh my goodness.
He just like it's this comical like big old guy doing that like Bugs Bunny tippy toe.
Okay. John, do I need to make an etiquette roll to know if it's shameful or rude to just like splash Willow with mead and smile and jest?
Dude, who cares? He's a menace.
Yeah, who cares?
No, I
Veronica-
think you'll be because it's kind of become more of a general revelry thing. You know that it'd be a safe move at this point.
Okay, Veronica turns around with a evil smile, flashing teeth, and just splashes you with some honeymead.
As you do that,
Ugh.
you can feel free to try to dodge this, and I will make a brawl attack. But I'm going to hug you.
Oh my goodness. Probably Dex and Athletics.
Dex Athletics versus my Dex Brawl. Yes. Oh me.
So what's the diff?
Just get more successes than me. That's all I'm saying.
Alright.
I have 6 successes.
Yep, you get her to hug.
Hug.
She's just like, no, ah!
Enjoy the sticky.
Air probably sees a Metis the size of Volstagg the Mighty going up to Veronica and hugging her
Yes.
after being splashed.
Oh
with
no,
mead.
she's seen him. She's like, oh, that's the guy who shed himself.
As he does this, he kind of cries out, "Who else needs a hug?"
Erin's just gonna proceed into
He looked for anybody that's
drinking her
alone.
mead, and she's going to go. I suppose she should go see Mr. Thorgrim there.
Yes, quick, before I come and
It's
hug
been
you.
a while since she's seen him.
How is
She's
She's
Veronica?
actually surprised at his presence.
How is the kinfolk reacting, Roma?
I mean, he's feeling the effects of the party too. So
Okay.
Have a good day, my friend. And he lets her go. Just good fun.
Just blinks.
Like I said, you need more Ragabash in your life. And then he does something he never has done to anyone. He winks at you. And then walks away.
Ew, dirty, filthy,
No, not that kind of wink.
filthy, filthy meta swings.
Yes, Max.
Metis wings.
Let the prejudiced hate flow through you.
all right. Anyone have anything else they want to do? Otherwise, you can always talk to NPCs and blue books too if there's one around that you wanted to chat with.
Yeah, I want to do one more thing, if
Sure.
you'll let me. It's not entirely appropriate, but I don't know that in character. I want to jump one of the fires.
Okay. We will go with a Dex Athletics then.
Yep. He'll revert to breed form to do this, because god damn it. And he'll make sure the stick does not get burnt. Yeah, cool.
John, the kinfolk's gonna have a long night.
That's going to be
Yeah,
2 successes
assume
to jump
so.
a fire, sir.
That's all I'm describing as.
All right. 2 successes to jump a fire.
Yes.
You make it over the fire without
Yeah.
scorching yourself.
Yay. I have proved my virility as a sterile mule. If I can do it, anyone can.
I ain't getting close to that fire, young man. No, sir.
But that's it. Willow's going to go off.
All right. All right. Well, then we will wrap it there as long as everyone's good.
Believe so.
All right. So as everyone kind of disperses, continues to enjoy the revelry of the celebration, and kind of the party breaks down into smaller parties and stuff with various groups. Any other conversations we can handle in Blue Book. So thank you, players, for playing, watchers for watching. This has been another episode of Nightfall in Amsterdam. In this case, a werewolf session for Beltane.